Hello. So I'm just hopping on here to do a little bit Infernoble gameplay. Starting off with the deck list, we'll just quickly run through it. We've got one Renaud, one Fire Flint Lady, one Infernoble Knight Ricardetto, three Maxi standard to play, Aqua Dolphin because that goes with the connector, three Ash Blossom, an Ogier, Oliver, Turpin, Super Quantum Red Layer. This is just good if you open with it, gets a free body on board to go into your ice hold. Three Diabell Star, then you've got your Immortal Phoenix, Reinforcement of the Army, three Heritage, two Talents, one Original Sinful Spoils, one Living Fossil, two Durendal, one Joyous, one Almace, one Phoenix Gearblade, one Angelic Ring, three Museum, two Call by the Grave, one Seeker, three Infinite Impermanence, and then we've got onto the extra deck. So the thing with the extra deck is you could play two Infernoble Knight Emperor Charles. I just kind of run one because I like going into King Dempsey if the opportunity arises, but that's kind of the only thing I'd maybe go two on. You've also got your Captain Roland. You could possibly go two on just in case you get sniped from the extra deck, but in this format it doesn't really happen very often because this deck's not really getting played too much, so it's not like people are going to set up to play against this. So we'll just quickly run through this. You've got your one Captain Roland, one Angelica, one Infernoble Knight Emperor Charles, one Baron, one Dempsey, one Anima, two Emperor Charles the Greats, two Ice Holds, one Heater, one Ferocious Flame Swordsman, one SP Little Knight, one Promethean Princess, and one Appaloosa. So it's just running through a little bit of the gameplay for people that like Infernoble Knights. The way the format is at the moment, this is probably my favourite deck. I've got Snake Eyes Fire King as well that I'd usually use if I'm kind of grinding on the ladder. But since the format's kind of at a wee bit of a dip, I know Ubel's just came out, Voiceless Voices just came out as well. For me personally, not too interested in them. So yeah, let's jump straight into the gameplay. So here we are on the first game. Just to kind of preference, this is in gold. I haven't played in a little bit, so all this is kind of in gold. It's just to run through some combos. The people I'm playing against in these replays, it's nothing too crazy. So it's just to kind of run through the combos. So we start off here. We go our Wanted, search our Diabell Star. Then we start off with our Space Connector. So the Wanted was just kind of to see if they've got Ash Blossom in hand, potentially Maxi. No response, so we continue. We then go into our Aqua Dolphin. We send our other Space Connector, and then we get hit with a Ciphering Gamma. We then get hit with a Baldrake as well. So I didn't really know what I was playing against at this moment. So I just hit a Maxi because I'm going to go +2 off this, so I don't see it as a bad thing. We draw into the Durendal, and then with the second draw we draw into our Oliver. So we still got plenty of plays that we can do with Durendal here, and we search our Fire Flint Lady. We then special summon our Fire Flint Lady, link off to go into our Ice Hold here, and this is where we're going to start the combo. The good thing about Infernoble is you can always kind of combo as long as you can get two warriors. So we go in our Ogier, ditch the Phoenix Gearblade, which will return back to our hand, which is always good to have. I quite like running the Gearblade. I know some people don't, but I quite like it. We put our Ricardetto in Grave and then go into our Promethean Princess. The idea is just to reborn back the Ricardetto. That activates their Baldrake, so Promethean Princess gets banished, but at least that deals with Baldrake's effect, and we can still push through with our Diabell Star. So with Diabell Star here, get our original Sinful Spoils, go into Renaud, bring back Living Fossil, and this is kind of a misplay on my part, just because I forgot Living Fossil negates the effect. So we just get another draw here, get our Phoenix Gear field, which is pretty lucky, but we'll take that. Sometimes you need to be lucky. So then we go into our Anima, because he's put his Gamma into the Anima column, so we snatch that up, gets a body off the board, even though it's going to leave the board at the end of the turn anyways. We can just take it away. Then we go in our SB, banish the Baldrake, set up our Almace, and this is just pretty much for negates, because after his turn I was going to kind of link away the gear field, the Immortal Phoenix I should say, and then the Almace would bring it back. So we negate this. This is why I kind of equipped Ogier, just to negate his Libellion, because if he was running Pistols I thought he was going to pick up. He goes to draw 2, which I thought was kind of a misplay on my part, because if he would have got my Immortal Phoenix he could have sucked up the SB, but again I could have dodged that, so maybe not a misplay. But this is gold, so I'm not expecting too much here, to be honest. So we go into our Oliver, and this is where we synchro now. I just go for Barone, because I think the game's pretty free, and I know I'm going to get my Immortal Phoenix back. He's called by the Graves, we then Barone negate, and then from there the game's pretty much a GG. Just summoning Immortal Phoenix back onto the field, and then we've got our Phoenix Gear Blade, and that's going to let us attack twice during the turn. He maxes, draws nothing, and then that's it. So let's go on to replay number 2. So we're into replay number 2 here. Again, I get to go first, so we start off with Diabellstar. I quite like the Diabellstar package because you can search out if there's any hand traps or anything like that. That's pretty much all I kind of use it for, just to bait out. So off that we summon the Ricardetto, and then I special summon the Renaud, grab back the Joyous. We then go into our ISO play. After getting the Neo Space Connector, we ditch 4, bring out Ogier, so standard play here. Phoenix Gear Blade's going to come back to our hand. This is all pretty standard stuff for anyone that's played Infernoble Knights. We ditch the Turpin, go into our Promethean Princess, and then we'll be looking to reborn the Ricardetto. The good thing about the way the Diabellstar package is played is it allows you to usually ditch the Ricardetto, and then off Ogier you can ditch the Turpin. Having both of them in the grave is really good for getting into your Angelica. So Angelica then searches as the museum, we use that to grab the Almace, we set up the Joyous to target Angelica. This activates her effect, which is going to banish her, let us pitch, and then summon our Captain Roland. Ogier then goes on to Captain Roland. This allows us to special summon our Turpin, and then we can go into our Emperor Charles, the synchro version. And you guys probably know where this is going now. Equip the Almace, and what this is going to do is when we synchro into our Emperor King Charles the Great, sorry, Emperor Charles the Great, which I got in Royal, which I thought was pretty cool. That's going to trigger the Almace. We can get the Phoenix, Immortal Phoenix, back to our house. Sorry. We get the Immortal Phoenix back to our hand, and that means we can summon it and we'll have an extra negate. So what we're going to do here, since we have the Phoenix Gear Blade in our hand, we're going to bring back the Charles. Oh, sorry, I never used the Phoenix Gear Blade. I used the Captain Roland, and that gets us our second Emperor Charles. And this is where the Immortal Phoenix comes in. So what we're going to finish off here, which is a nice, pretty standard combo, but what we finish off is we're going to have our Emperor Charles the Great, which is going to bring back the Angelica Ring, which means their first spell card is going to get negated. We then have 2 spell and trap negates here. We have a negate on our Immortal Phoenix, and we've got our Promethean Princess pop. Also, what we've got here is if we equip to one of these, we've got an additional pop as well. So my favourite thing about Infernoble Knight is once you get set up, it's quite hard to break the board. He baits an evenly match, which I always find quite funny, and then we just proceed to finish the game off with the board that we've started here. So attack with the Emperor Charles the Great, and then I didn't need to do this, but it just gets it done a little bit quicker. So we're going to move on to replay number 3 now. So into replay number 3, again these are all quite short replays, but it's just to kind of show off some gameplay. So the guy I was going up against here, he wasn't really playing anything in particular, which you usually get at gold, but you can only really play against the opponent that's in front of you. So we go Ogier here, we dump Ricardetto, we then go Noble Arm Museum to search our Durendo. Durendo equips onto the Ogier, and we summon out our Fire Flint, and this is going to get us into our Icehold with Ricardetto in the grave. A lot of folk dump Turpin, but I kind of like to go the Ricardetto route, because you'll see here I actually go for the Dolphin, and then I can rip one out his hand, get the Phoenix Gearblade back, which is always good. We dumped the Immortal Phoenix, which I didn't need to do, but I had the All Mace in hand, so I knew I was going to get it back. And then I go Promethean Princess, and I get the Immortal Phoenix back, and it just means that I'm not going negative, if that makes sense. You still go -1 because you lose your equip, but if I dumped any other card, I wouldn't be able to just get it back like what I've done there. So we go Ricardetto, get back Ogier, now we're into our Angelica, and then we're looking to activate Angelica's effect. Use the Phoenix Gearblade, target Angelica, this activates, we'll get our Captain Roland out, we dump our Turpin off of that because we've already got the Immortal Phoenix. And that's one where people usually dump the Immortal Phoenix if they don't have it, to then search it off with the All Mace to get it back. So we go into our Emperor Charles, equip Captain Roland, and you guys have probably seen this before. That's where we use our pop there. It was a polymerization, so like I was saying earlier, I'm not playing against anyone too good. Well, I'm not saying too good, I'm not really playing against anyone here that's going to cause me any problems, as you guys can probably see. So the only thing I could have done there is I could have attacked with the Immortal Phoenix and sucked up his Gimmick Puppet, however we still get lethal damage. So let's go on to the last replay number 4. So this is the 4th and final replay. Again, it's not going to be too long. So we start with our Rota, we get Ash, we've got Call by the Grave. I don't mind call buying because if I manage to set up how I want to set up, I don't really need very many hand traps. So a call buy there to me is no problem. I want to make sure I can make my full board. I had a second call buy if I had Maxi, so even in a situation if I wasn't in gold just now, I'd feel quite comfortable. And then we snipe the other Ash Blossom out his hand, which he wouldn't have been able to activate anyways, but that's what I like about the Aqua Dolphin. The thing is as well, you can set that up when your board's a bit more established, but I usually like just using it right off the bat just to see what I'm playing against, and then I can kind of judge my plays from there. So we go in our Icehold, we dump 4, we get the Ogier out, get our Phoenix Gearblade back, dump our Turban, we then go in our Promethean Princess, and you guys have seen this quite a lot. There is a lot more combos you can kind of go into, but I kind of like keeping it quite standard, because you are cycling through a lot of cards, so where you need to mix up you can mix it up, but the premise stays the same. You're wanting to get the same end board regardless of what hand you start with, so it's all about judging. I've shown 4 replays all with different hands, and I've managed to get to the same outcome that I want to get to. on this instance we use the Angelica to dump the Immortal Phoenix, because we already had Turpin and Ricardetto in the grave, and now since we've got an equip to Captain Roland, our Turpin's got an effect where it special summons itself. Then we can go into our synchro, and this is where we're going to get our Immortal Phoenix back here. What I should have done there is just linked off, but it happens. So we finally get in our link into our Charles the Great, again royal version if I didn't let you know. We equip our Synchro Charles, and then we've got our Immortal Phoenix, set our call by the grave, Angelica comes back, and then we equip the Angelic Ring and the Oliver. So he activates Engage, the Angelic Ring deals with that. This I wasn't too worried about. Promethean Princess to pop, then we get Angelica's effect again, and this is why this is quite nice. A lot of folk I think forget about that. You can pop Angelica to trigger her effect, and your Promethean pop's still going to go through. Since I had a second call by, I knew that could deal with the Ray as well. So it's this once you get your board established, you're pretty much chilling. Goes with triple tactics, then we can negate that with our Emperor Charles. So if he had another card that would be useful, he could play, but we still have our negate with our Immortal Phoenix, so we're in a really good position. And this is what I like about this deck. Once you get through the combos and you know how to play it, it is quite satisfying just shutting everything down. And again, I didn't need to do this, but I just thought, why not? So that's my replays. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed them. If you want to see more, just let me know. I'm probably going to keep putting them up just so there's something different out there. I feel like everyone focuses on the meta decks quite a lot, so it would be good to see more gameplay. I know if I searched up Infernoble gameplay, it comes up with Pack. So if you want to know how to use the deck properly, I'd probably go watch him. But I hope you guys have enjoyed. If you can, give the video a like, and if you want, subscribe for future content. Peace.